All right, so we're jumping into a wheel bearing replacement, and we actually need a lower ball joint is actually going out on this truck as well. It's a 2005 Dodge Dakota. It's actually not too bad of a job to do. You only need a couple tools here. Let's go over what you need. 1/2 inch, whatever. If you have an impact, that's great. Pry bar to help relieve the tension of the upper control arm. And we got three sockets technically. This is a 15/16. We have a 13/16, and this big one is like 1.7/16. I use it to get this one off, but it is loose, so it's not the exact size, but luckily it was able to break the thing loose. I got it off, but that 1.7/16 got it done, but it's not tight, so just a heads up on that. So what we need is, you actually don't have to take the brakes out if you don't want. You just need to get the big bolts on the back. This guy right here, you got 2 of those, and this whole thing can pop off and just put it to the side. And then you need to loosen the upper control arm, tie rod end, and you're gonna have to get the bottom ball joint loose as well. That's to get the bottom ball joint out. Now, all you have to do for the wheel bearing is you're going to take this bad boy off, take the brakes off, and then get the nut off. And then you got, I think there's 3 bolts. Yeah, there's 1, and the lighting's going to be awful. There's 3, 1 on the top, 2 on the bottom. You got to get those 3 out, and then you can just smack it a few times and it'll pop right off. We need to take tie rod end off. Once this thing's off, you can spin it either way you want, so we can get up to this. Loosen this one, the top ball joint. This is the same size as this one. The only different one is this bottom ball joint. It's the one we're replacing here. And you can put this back on. You can tap on it here. Most of the time I smack it right here with a big hammer, and it'll just drop. Same thing with this up here. With this one, you definitely want to make sure you have that nut back on, because there's a little spring loaded here. So what we'll do is, you got it here. Make sure you don't hit the boot. A couple good swings. There you go. So yeah, now you can spin it anywhere you want. Make sure you don't bust the axle up too much. See if we can get in there. We might not be able to get there with an impact here, so we might just use a breaker bar. You always want an impact if you can, because on these ball joints, they're really tight. The impact will just zip them off. If you use like a ratchet or a wrench or something, you're actually spinning, there's a chance you can spin the ball joint as well. So we're gonna give it a shot here. Oh. There we go. Yeah, and you can see it's spun without spinning the stud. Is a good sign for us. It means the ball joint is still seated inside and not spinning. So now what we can do is, once we have that loosened completely off, put it back up, we'll put our breaker bar, or not a breaker bar, pry bar in here, hold down on this, and loosen it, and it'll just pop right off. Work on the bottom one. And that one, bigger size socket. We'll loosen that up and get the impact on it. We'll be good to go. Alright guys, so actually, I got to jump the gun. I didn't actually grab the camera in time, but what you do is loosen it up with, again, 15/16. Impact is amazing. Once it's loose, leave the nut on, and you can smack it here or on the backside, whichever one you can get a good hit on, good swing on, and you smack it a couple times. This one took 2 hits, drop right down. Let me see if I can get this off. And there you go. The knuckles off. What we're gonna do is, since it's off, we're gonna clean it up real nice. Make it not look like new, but just in better shape than what it was. Now the fun part begins. We can pull the axle out to give us more room, or you can leave it like that, and then we gotta get this bottom ball joint out, which is gonna be a blast, it looks like. So we're gonna clean this all up and start working on it. You're good, Cal. All right, so the tool's set up. This is the biggest one they have. It's odd because it works, but it's not real nice around here, as you can see. If it won't focus, it won't. Of course not. Why would it? It should be able to break it loose still, but let me show you. If you come over here and look, this is the second size down. But here's the new one, and it's like perfect. This is how we're going to install it using this one. It's perfect size. The other one is too big. It's the biggest size they have. Either way, it should work, but it is just a little odd, at least on this truck. So, all right, let's tighten this thing down.
Even the camera's glitch.
All right, with a couple hits, we're good. It's moving down. Oh, there goes the air compressor. But yeah, it's working great. Made sure you had lots of lube on there. Again, I was worried about that it's not really nice, but again, it's working. It's still loose underneath, so you know you're getting it down. So we'll just keep hammering on it. It's gonna fall apart using one hand here, but all right, I'm gonna catch it. I don't want it to fall. So that's what we got. It's sitting in there. Ugh. Alrighty, so we have the setup. As you can see, pushing the ball joint up in. You want to make sure that this cap is on top and that it's out of the way. So when the ball joint is getting pressed up, it doesn't actually hit the cup. After using the ball joint tool from Harbor Freight, ball joint's in. Here's another investment. So this is a snap-on little ring plier here. I'm going to try a Harbor Freight one to see how well it works, but these are nice. I mean, spend the money on getting a decent set. I bought like a Craftsman one that changed like different sizes. It was junk. I mean, you couldn't even open one of these tougher springs up. So that's a good investment. I'm going to put this on, grease fitting. I got to torque it down. But yeah, that's it. That's basically it. It's all in there. Put the knuckle back on after I clean it all up, put new wheel bearing in, and we're done. So these, just tighten them and then tighten them once you get to, it's got a castle nut on it. Tighten it until you get to the opening and then put your thing through it. Don't loosen it. Tighten it until you get to the opening. Don't tighten it and they're like, oh, I just missed it, loosen it up. No, just keep tightening it, get to the opening, put your pin through, and you're good to go. So yeah, let me just start putting stuff back together and we should be good to go here. Yeah, not too bad on this Dakota. All right, so we got the ball joint in, it's all done. We actually did a wheel bearing at the same time. So yeah, on these trucks, they're not that bad to do the ball joints. A lot of people are worried about them. A lot of people don't like doing them. If you have the right tools, it's pretty darn easy. So if you need to either buy that ball joint press type tool, do it, rent it if you have to. Either way, you guys can do it yourself. It's not that hard to do at all. So it's pretty expensive if you take it to the dealer or a garage to do it nowadays. There's, it's like 100, I think they're around here, they're like $115 an hour or something. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, either way, that's the job done on the ball joint. If I know I didn't do a great job on making a video. It's been a while. It's actually been like 2 years since I made videos. My daughter, she's like, you should start making video again. Okay, so either way, if I missed some stuff, don't beat me up too bad. Either way, have a good one, guys. God bless.